Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 books and how they've greatly impacted my life. I hope you can take some nuggets from this time together. Hi, I'm Jenica Williams with Keller Williams Realty. Thanks so much for being with me here today. Today I'm going to talk to you about 3 books that have majorly impacted my life and just some nuggets from each of those books. So the first book, which is one that I've recently reread, is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and it's by John Mark Comer, who's a pastor, and it just really resonates with me because I am often in a hurry. For those of you who know me, it just talks a lot about how we're all very fast-paced in America and how hurry is hurting us. And so I just want to share 3 nuggets that I took from reading this book and hope that they will help you. So the first one, what he mentions in here is that the times when he has not liked the way that he's behaved have almost always been when he's been in a hurry. And I know that that really resonated with me because I can be the same way. If we're getting ready to run out the door and we're running late and then we need to get snacks and shoes and water, the best side of me doesn't always come out. And so that was something that really struck a chord with me. Another thing he talked about was that as people, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, we all need a time alone. So he talks about taking 1 day a month to be alone, in silent, by the water, just taking time to be away. And I think as parents, for those of you that are parents, I don't think we give ourselves enough grace. There's always mom guilt and dad guilt. And so we need to take a little more time for ourselves and just be alone. And really one of the points that he makes, he quotes, I'm actually living the way I want to live in line with my convictions. So are we becoming who we want to become? And so sometimes not until we stop and slow down are we able to really check that. And that really resonates with me as well and just makes me think, wow, am I becoming who I say I am? Am I, how am I acting at home or at work or with my kids? And sometimes not until we have that downtime do we really have a chance to check that. Last point I'll make is that there was a survey that surveyed a number of people and they talked about, income. And after a certain threshold of income, which in the survey that they did, it was $75,000. Your happiness doesn't necessarily go up. It can actually go the other way and start going down, so that it's not always about, chasing after money and thinking that money will make you successful. And so that is hard because we live in a society where go to school, get a good job, make lots of money, and everything will be great. And that's always the way it is. And so those are 3 things that I took from that book that I absolutely love. So now I'm going to move on to 1, 2, 3 magic. So for any of you parents out there, if you've read this book or haven't, I would encourage you to. Ever since our son was about 2 years old, started seeing initially a parenting coach, we've seen therapists, we've done it all. So we've read a lot of books, as I'm sure you guys have too, and this was kind of a game changer. I don't know if my husband would agree 100%, but for me, I feel like it really helped me to take the emotions out of it and just really give the kids a reminder. So the theory behind it is that, okay, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and then on 3 they get a consequence, whatever that is. So I'll give you my pointers on this book. So number 1 is stop talking. So the counting should not be, and all of us are probably guilty of this as parents, that's 1. Did you hear me, Joshua? I told you that's 1. I told you to stop doing that, yada, yada. So you should say, and I'm speaking, to myself here too, but that's 1. And then you wait a little while, 30 seconds or so. That's 2. That's 3. Go on timeout. So the biggest thing in this book is that you shouldn't be talking. You shouldn't be explaining yourself. You shouldn't be going on and on, as a lot of us parents do. So that's a key in applying this 1, 2, 3 magic book to improve your kids' behavior. Be consistent. So make sure that on 3, you're giving them the consequence. We even at times at the dinner table will say, stop doing that. Stop, putting your feet up or talking with your mouth full, which I'm guilty of too, but stop doing this, or put your book away while we're at the table, or different things, rules that we have. And then I'm like, we should just count them. Now, be careful when you're counting because it is not a good interaction necessarily. So you want to make sure that you're counting for the appropriate things. And then lastly, it's mostly supposed to be used on stop behavior. And so what that means is that you're not using it on go make your bed, clean up your room, and do this. That's a lot for kids to handle. So it's supposed to be used on something that could be stopped in an instant, like he's fighting with his brother, or she's fighting with her friend, or she's back talking me or whatnot. So it should be used only for stop behavior, things that kids can stop in an instant instead of something that would take quite some time. It doesn't usually work on that. And we've done that too, where we're using it for start behavior. And then I think, oh, it's really meant to be used for stop behavior. As you start using it more and more, you might be able to use it a little bit for that. It talks about in the book. So that is this book. I need to reread it because I need to make sure I'm consistent. And so those are the 3 nuggets from that book. And then lastly, and definitely not least, is Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud and John Townsend. And if you haven't read this, I think everybody, no matter what your stage of life is, should read this. It is a wonderful book, and it really helps you if you are dealing with boundary issues with a parent, with a child, with an adult child, with a spouse. There is one called Boundaries in Marriage that I've started but have not finished. So as I was coming into my own as an adult, I don't feel like I had a lot of boundaries in certain ways with different people. And so it was really a challenge for me to read this and apply it to my life. So one of the nuggets in here is that safety is in the truth of who you are. So safety is in truth. So if we're not being true to who we are and we're doing things just because we feel bad for someone, or oh, well, they really need me to, even though I don't want to, or even though that puts me in a bind, and I'll just do it anyway, is something that over time you can feel resentment for, like a friend that keeps needing something and you keep doing, and then there's maybe, not reciprocal, or it's going against something that you feel like you should be doing, etc. So you're not being true to who you are if you're not following your own boundaries. And then secondly is that there's freedom in boundaries. So once you set a boundary with someone, the next time around it gets easier. You feel free. You feel like you're following your own truth and what you know you should be doing, and not that you're compromising because of someone else, or making decisions because you feel bad. And so that's another thing, is freedom in the boundary. And unfortunately, lastly, it requires confrontation. So that first time around when you say, hey, so-and-so, this wasn't an appropriate reaction, or this is how you made me feel. If we're going to continue to hang out together, I need things to show up like this. Or something else I recently read was about like a friend at school who might be bugging your child, empowering your children to even say, hey, I really like playing with you, but when you call me names, it really hurts my feelings. So when you can be nice, then we can start hanging out again, or when you can be kind to me. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna go play with Jaden or someone else. And just empowering our kids to also have boundaries, because there is major freedom in boundaries. Those are a few books that have changed my life and changed how I want to show up for my friends and my family and even our clients. And so we hope you enjoyed watching this book review and just learning about some of my favorite books that have really helped me on my path to just personal growth and trying to live my truth. So have a great day. Bye.